Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be studying about some MCQs of methods in Java. And before starting this video, I would like to say that this video has been uploaded on this channel is equal to Classes Shivang. Previous videos have also been uploaded on this channel. Be sure to check them out. One is a revision video of MCQs on class as a basis of computation, and the second video was revision of class 9 syllabus. Okay, so let's start the video. The first question, the return type must be specified while defining a user-defined function. So that would be false. A function in Java can be written inside a class, outside a class, inside main function, none. So this would be inside a class. It is compulsory to return a value from a function, B, false. Alternative way to send multiple values from a function is A, arrays. The main function is a user-defined function. A would be correct. The default return type of a user-defined function is B, int, or the integer. The function that modifies its parameters is called a virtual function, pure function, or impure function. This would be C. The eighth question. The keyword used to return a value from a function is D, return. Function prototype means D, return type, name, and inputs to a function. Static functions can access only static data members. A function name can begin with an alphabet. It can't begin with a digit, it can't begin with a sign, and can't begin with a space. 12th, an overloaded function is D, both B and C. So what exactly is B? A function with same name but with different number of parameters, and a function with same name but different types of parameters. So if you have a method, data, and you have some parameters inside of it. So if you call another method with the same name, so that is known as function overloading. So say, for example, if you have data, not exactly call the same method, but you could say if you create a method which has the exact same name as a previous method. So say, for example, I'm calling data method again. Now, if you input in its parameter the same parameter that I've given to this function, so this won't be valid. You can't create two functions with the same name and the same number of parameter and the same type of parameter. So compiler will throw a compilation error. So for this, you have to create one more parameter to differentiate the two functions. So let's say double num2. So this, the number of parameters differs in both the functions, and the types of parameters also differ in both functions. So there is int, there's a variable num1 and its type is integer. But in the second data method, you have num1 as a variable which has int as a data type, and then you have num2, another parameter which has double as its data type. So this is called function overloading, and this is how they are differentiated between each other. 13th question, a local variable of a function has more priority than D, all of the above. So let's find odd one out. 14th question, function method, a block of code in parentheses, the curly braces, and you have package. So D would be the odd one out. 15th, you have function overloading, polymorphism, one things. This is not this, this is things. One things in many different forms, and then you have inheritance. So D would be the odd one out. 16th, parameter, class, input, store, functions, or argument. So the odd one out among these is B, class. 17th, import statement, function prototype, signature of a function, function declaration. A would be the odd one out. 18th question, invoking a function, calling a function, execution of a function, return type of a function. So of course, D would be the odd one out. Seal method is a user-defined function. That is false. User-defined functions reside in classes. It is true. The default return type for a user-defined function is Boolean. That is false. B. All user-defined functions do not take parameters. That is true. An array is passed by dash to a user-defined function. That is true. Wait, that is reference. Yeah. A user-defined function can have dash number of parameters. It can have any number of parameters. 26th, a user-defined function in Java can return dash number of values. It can only return one value. So if you have a function known as data, and you write your usual code. So you write the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, and then you write return, say for example, a variable A, and then you keep on writing return B, return C. So only one statement will be executed out of all these return statements, no matter how much times you write the return statement. Okay, so the correct answer would be C. 27th, a function in Java is dash by default. So that would be B, public. Okay, moving on to the 28th question. A private function is accessible only to its own class, only subclass, and classes in same package, or D, none. So the correct answer would be A, in its own class only. The 29th question. All the functions of a package can be imported by using the dash character with import statement. So B would be the correct answer. So say for example, if you want to import the scanner, so you would write import java.util.scanner. Say for example, there are okay, spelling's a bit off. So there are many other entities other than scanner in the java.util.package. So if you want to import those also, so instead of writing multiple lines of, say for example, if you write import java.util dot something, then you write the same sentence again and again and again. So the java.util.package would remain the same, but you would constantly, writing it again and again, and only this part would differentiate. So instead of doing that, you can just import the whole package itself. And importing the whole package itself, how can you do that? You can apply the asterisk. So if you apply the asterisk, so the whole package inside the java.util will be imported. Okay, so let's move on. The 30th question. A dash is a function that is calling itself. Calling function, recursive function, C, recursive function, and D, none. So the correct answer would be C, recursive function. It's a function that is calling itself. Okay, so let's move on to the 31st question. A function is used to check whether the character is in uppercase or not. So that would be A, is uppercase. Defining two or more methods in the same class with the same name is called dash. Constructor overloading, function overloading, static function, or D, none of these. So B would be the correct answer, function overloading. A deceleration can occur dash in a body of a Java method. So C, anywhere in the Java method. 34th, the function call in which the data in actual parameters gets changed is called B, call by reference. Okay, so let's move on to the 35th question. The prototype of a function show that returns a float and takes two ints is D. Public show int. The prototype of a function take that returns int and receives an array is A. Public int take, and in the parameters it has int r, and r over here is an array because it has square brackets at the end of it. So any variable that has these brackets suffixing the variable, then it would be declared as an array. Okay, so the 37th question. What is the access specifier for function int recall int? So that would be D, none. Which feature of OOPS, object-oriented programming, is illustrated by function overloading? C, polymorphism. The 39th question. To receive an array R of size 10 in a function result, the current prototype is C, both A and B. So what is both A and B? Void result in R and void result int R 10. Given the code, and then you have a snippet of a code given over here. The statement to call the above function will be A, B, C, or D. So it would be A. Change 10, 20. The following code will give the output A, B, C, or D. So that would be A, 343. The 42nd question also has a snippet of code given over here. Look at the code carefully and answer the following questions. Would it be A, B, C, or D? So it would be C, no output. The 43rd question. Now, why will it be no output? Because there is no SOP given over here. If you would have given SOP, then the output would have been, it would have been compiled and the output would have been displayed on the terminal window. But because system.out.println isn't, you can't see it anywhere in this program, so then the output won't be printed. The 43rd question. What output will the below code give? So look at the code carefully. And this snippet of code over here is important because it is used to extract numbers from a whole number. So if you have 348372, so this snippet of code will be used. You have to use this snippet of code to extract each number from this whole number. So 273843 would be extracted by the compiler. If you want to extract numbers, then use this code. Okay, so what will be the output of the following code? So the correct answer would be A, 12. The 44th question, write the output of the following code. So look at the following snippet, a snippet of code, and then answer the following. Would it be A, B, C, or D? It would be, again, A, 6. Which of the following declarations illustrate function overloading? D, both A and C. Both A and both C. 46th, which statement is erroneous in the code given below? So it would be A, line 1. Because line 1 isn't specifying whether the function returns something or whether it does not return. If it returns something, then they should have put a specific data type that the function would return. If it does not return a value, then they should have written void over here, but they haven't. So that's why the code is erroneous. The 47th question, one statement has error in the following code, identify it. Private void red int x print math library. So print is the wrong code that is used in Java. Print is only used in Python. So if you have to display an output on the terminal window is the window in which all the results are displayed. So print is only used in Python to print the display window, to print on the display window. In Java, SOP, system.out.println is used. So the correct answer would be B, print math library. 48th question. Again, there's a snippet of code given over here. Will it be A, B, C, or D? It would be A, quadratic 10. 49th question. Function call itself n gives public int call itself n. If n is equal to 1, return 1. Else return n into call itself n minus 1. If it is called as call itself 6, so the 6 is passed to the parameter. And if n is equal to 1, return 1, else return n into call itself into n minus 1. So 6 is not equal to 1, 6 is not equal to 1, then this following code will be printed, else return n, 6 into call itself n minus 1. So that would be 5. So again, the value of 5 would be passed to this method. So this would keep on going, 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. And then when finally 1 occurs, when you have all these numbers 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, so none of these is equal to 1. None of these is equal to 1. So this block of code won't be executed. But the moment you have 1, 1 is equal to 1. So then this block of code will run, and then the overall process will stop. So 1 won't be printed. 1 will be printed, but it doesn't matter because anything multiplied by 1 is the answer itself, the number itself. So let's calculate the output. You have 5, 6 are 30, 4, 3 are 12, 12 into 3 is 360, and 362. 360 into 2 is 720. So the correct answer would be B, 720. The 50th question, write the output of the following code. So there's a snippet of a code given over here. Would it be A, B, C, or D? It would be B. This following code depicts the factorial of a number. Which of the following code will print the area of a square? So will it be A, B, C, or D? So the correct answer would be B. Sorry. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate code for proper working of the function arm. So let's look at the following code. You have these missing places and you have to substitute them. Okay, so let's do our part and select the options. So what would A be? Note the question first and then answer the question. So 52nd A would be 2, num. B would be 1, D. So B would be 1, D. And then C would be third, cube. So you would write cube over here. And then D, let's scroll down a bit. D would be 2, 10. Then E would be 1, 2, or 3. E would be 3. If so, if sum is equal to F, then what would F be? F would be second, temp. So you would write temp. You don't have to write temp, you have to select the option only. So you would write temp. So let's move on. The 53rd question. The following program is based on the specification given below. Fill in the blanks with appropriate Java statements. So again, you have to select the options. These are some missing snippets from the code and you have to fill in them. So A, the correct answer for A would be first, fruit juice. And then the second would be B. B would be second, product price. C would be first, display. And then you have 54th question given over here. And then you have to write the options. So this is like in language. If you have given language or Hindi papers, then you would have seen that they would give you these paras and they would give you some questions based on those paras. So similarly, in this paper, they have given you a para and they have asked you questions based on this para. So just read this para, you can pause it. So let's move on. A question, 54th A. The two types of functions are system-defined and user-defined functions. B, the functions that are readily available for use are known as 3, system-defined. C, functions reside inside 1, classes. And then finally, the functions of a class can be imported by the clause 2, import. So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned and enjoyed this video. I would be uploading this video to the channel is equal to classes Shivang. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.